Hello friends, on this day in 1945 Hitler committed suicide with his wife in a bunker. Now we are going to see about what happened in his suicide plan. On the 28th of April, Hitler received a BBC report originating from Reuters. It stated that Reichsführer SS Heinrich Himmler had offered to surrender to the Western Allies. The offer was declined. Himmler had implied to the Allies that he had the authority to negotiate a surrender, which Hitler considered to be treason. That afternoon, Hitler's anger and bitterness escalated into a rage against Himmler. He ordered Himmler's arrest and had Hermann Vegelen, Himmler's SS representative at Hitler's headquarters, shot for desertion. This report and Himmler's treachery prompted Hitler to make the last decisions of his life. Later that day, he asked SS physician Werner Haas about the most reliable method of suicide. Haas suggested the pistol and poison method of combining a dose of cyanide with a gunshot to the head. Shortly after midnight on the 29th of April 1945, he married Eva Braun in a small civil ceremony in a map room within the Feuerbunker. The two then hosted a modest wedding breakfast, after which Hitler took Secretary Theodor Jenge to another room and dictated his last will and testament. On the afternoon of the 29th of April, Hitler learned that his ally, Benito Mussolini, had been executed by Italian partisans. The bodies of Mussolini and his mistress, Clara Petacci, had been strung up by their heels. The corpses were later cut down and thrown into the gutter, where they were mocked by Italian dissidents. These events may have strengthened Hitler's resolve not to allow himself or his wife to be made a spectacle of, as he had earlier recorded in his testament. Hitler had been given some capsules of prussic acid by Himmler through SS physician Dr. Ludwig Stumpfegger, and initially had intended to use them for his suicide. But when he received the news that Himmler had contacted the Allies through a Swedish diplomat to arrange for an end to the war, Hitler was outraged. With this betrayal in his mind, Hitler began to doubt whether the ampoules would be effective. He ordered Haas to test one on his dog Blondie. The capsule worked, the dog died instantly. Hitler signed these documents at 4 o'clock and then went to bed. Some sources say that he dictated the last will and testament immediately before the wedding, but all agree on the timing of the signing. Hitler, two secretaries, and his personal cook then had lunch, after which Hitler and Braun said goodbye to members of the bunker staff and fellow occupants, including Bormann, Goebbels, the secretaries, and several military officers. At around 14:30 Adolf and Eva Hitler went into his personal study. Hitler's adjutant SS Sturmbannführer Otto Gunsch stood guard outside the study door. Later a gun sound, Linger saw the bodies of Hitler and Braun sitting upright on the sofa, with Hitler to Braun's right. His head was canted to his right. Gunsch entered the study shortly afterwards. He described Braun's corpse as being on Hitler's left, with her legs drawn up and slumped away from him. Gunsch stated that Hitler sat, sunken over, with blood dripping out of his right temple. He had shot himself with his own pistol, a Walther PPK 7.65. The gun lay at his feet. Hitler's dripping blood had made a large stain on the right arm of the sofa and was pooling on the rug. Hitler and Braun lived together as husband and wife in the bunker for less than 40 hours. According to Linger, Braun's body had no visible wounds, and her face showed how she had died by cyanide poisoning. Gunsch and SS Brigadefuhrer Wilhelm Mohnke stated, unequivocally, that all outsiders and those performing duties and work in the bunker did not have any access to Hitler's private living quarters during the time of death between 1500 and 1600. In accordance with Hitler's prior written and verbal instructions, his and Braun's bodies were carried up the stairs and through the bunker's emergency exit to the garden behind the Reich Chancellery, where they were to be burned with petrol. Later they identified on the 4th of May, dental remains match with Hitler's and Braun's, then both were sifted from the soil. These remains, along with those of two dogs thought to be Blondie and her offspring, Wolf, were removed the following days and secretly delivered to SMERSH in Buck. All these things said about the Adolf Hitler's pre-planned suicide, and he decided how will die. These are the events happening on before and after death of Hitler. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos.